day-to-day life as of a salesman during the COVID-19 crisis in the capital equipment game. That's what we're talking about on today's episode. And I've got three guys from around the country in the capital equipment sector on the front line in sales. So it's great to have you guys on the show. It's great to be back on Steel Pushers. It's great to be talking to all you Steel Pushers out there again. I'd like to welcome Tim from Chesterfield. How you going?
I'm excellent. Thank you, Lyndon.
We've got Pete, of course, from Equipment Specialists Australia.
Lyndon, how are you, mate?
I'm great, mate. Thank you for asking. And George from Auslift as well. So, George, thank you for joining us today.
G'day, Lyndon. Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
Right. So, guys, really in today's show, I want to give everyone out there a really good rundown from yourselves, from the front line, a perspective of what it's like to be out there in sales, in capital equipment during the COVID-19 crisis. I know it's affected me. As you can tell with the digital background behind me, I am working from home as well, thanks to a bit of studio magic from the producers. They've made it look a bit flash, but everything's, really in all in honesty, behind me is a big green sheet. So we've all adapted to make sure that we're doing things differently and in accordance with what's happening for COVID-19. But I know all of you Steel Pushers out there are pushing on, are getting the job done, and it'll be great to hear some insights from these three guys in sales, exactly how they're doing things as well. So to start off, I think there's one thing I really would like to focus on, and it's probably one thing that's on a lot of sales guys' minds when they start to think of even working from home or working remotely, and that's motivation and discipline. So I'd like to get a bit of feedback from yourself, of course, Tim, on what you're doing to stay motivated and to stay disciplined in your workday structure while working remotely.
Look, Lyndon, basically nothing's really changed. Either, working in the office or working at home, you've got to be motivated to sell. So, the calls are still coming in, the quotes are still getting done. So that's motivation enough from my point of view.
Well, yeah, always having the dollars coming through is always a good thing, and the inquiry rolling through. But have you found that structuring your day, Nick, has it all been something that you need to do as well? Sorry, George.
Lyndon, structuring a day is for us part and parcel. We have a couple of windows in our day that are really busy, between 7 and 10, and then from 3 o'clock till 5 o'clock. That gives us a window in between the middle of the day to do a lot of our admin and planning. So we're a very structured company, and I think that helps us maintain success and look for tomorrow's business. And
Pete, with obviously in the agricultural sector, being based out at Toowoomba yourself, and I know it might be very similar for yourself as well, Tim. Pete, structuring your day and pulling back a lot from going out and visiting a lot of your potential prospects that are looking at buying machinery. How have you changed your day structure, or how have you stayed motivated without that opportunity to get on the road? Because I know what I'm like. You've seen me out on the road heaps. And what's it been like for you to stay motivated and structure your day without the ability to go out and visit everyone?
Well, mate, we've basically had some new things we've had to look at as well. So introducing those new taking videos and ramping up websites and Facebook and all the socials, all that kind of gear has taken up a lot of that time. Obviously, we are very face-to-face, and we do like to be on-site with our customers, but we just have to find the best way that we can to get around that at the moment, and that seems to be videos and social media.
And so what are you doing to stay motivated and keep pushing forward, obviously with a bit of a downturn in physical contact? I mean, I know at Machines for You, we've seen a huge increase in the traffic through to the site, but what that means for a business or for a salesperson on the ground like yourself, obviously that might mean you end up stuck in an office a lot or stuck at home. What are you doing to stay motivated, to keep yourself from getting cabin fever, I suppose?
Look, it is difficult. As a salesperson, we do like to get out. So being trapped in a building or trapped in a car or whatnot isn't very fun. Just jumping on that phone, engaging with the other employees around the place, the rest of our team, making sure that we're talking to those guys a bit more regularly, calling the other sales guys more regularly, making sure that we've got some good back and forth. We can talk about deals and we can talk about machines, and we can keep that conversation flowing and just keep our heads in a sales point of view.
Yeah, and Tim, is there anything that you've done differently to keep yourself trucking through without the ability to go and see customers on a regular basis?
Basically, comes down to just following up customers that we've dealt with in the last basically 12 months that have bought machines, following up with those guys, just keeping the momentum going and making sure that you're talking to your key accounts and making sure that they know that we're going to be there for the long haul,
Okay, well, that really easily sort of swings into the next thing I wanted to talk about. And George, are you doing a lot of that as well in relation to keeping in touch with existing clients? Are you finding there's a lot more focus on trying to gain that repeat business during all of this?
I personally, as far as Auslift goes, I think that is actually key. Communication is always really, really important. But at the moment, with that inability to go out and physically visit people, being on the phone, giving a gentle push on an email, we're finding that all of those things are really, really important to keep us in the forefront of what their mindset is with regards to purchasing equipment. So yeah, communication, phone, email, and sometimes we are inviting people to come to the yard. Looking at all the social distancing regulations and hand sanitizers and things like that, we are able to still have visitors come to the yard to look at machinery. And I do pre-prepare that machinery before they get here as well. So it's outside, it's not in an area that they will have to come in contact with any other staff. So yeah, communication, I think, Lyndon, gets back to that. Good communicators.
Fantastic, and that's something I think I'm seeing a lot of, even just in general day-to-day life. You're seeing a lot of prep with hand sanitizers on counters and people spraying things down before they let anybody near them. And of course, I know I've been to your yard as well, Pete. And do you still get the odd person coming through, especially if they're an existing business or an existing client? Because managing those existing repeat accounts, I know, would be very important. But do you, Peter, see a lot of people still wanting to come in and see a machine, just obviously maintaining that social distancing while you're doing it?
Yeah, look, we do, and they still do come in, and people do still, they have to come pick up their parts, and they have to come and, have a look at the machine, especially when buying capital gear. The big machines, they really want to drive them first.
Yep.
So it's very difficult to sell a machine that hasn't been driven or operated. So we just make sure that they're aware. And that we're aware that what we're doing, and we make sure that we wash the machines and we sanitize things, and then we do also push where we can to just back to video. So mate, we can just send you a video of this machine doing what it needs to do. But if you must come in, then we'll get a set time and we'll do it that way.
And Tim, have you seen, or are you doing a lot of maintaining contact with previous customers, a little more than what's usual? I know for a fact myself, I've been spending a huge amount of time managing pre-existing accounts and making sure that everybody is happy and making sure that we do stay in touch and help everybody through the COVID-19 crisis as best as we can. So are you seeing the same sort of attitude from yourself and other sales staff at Chesterfield?
Yeah, definitely, mate. So that's the key at the moment is, obviously with everything that's going on, we've got limited foot traffic at the moment on the sales front. So yeah, basically we need to push that follow up and our key top contacts, like I said, and just follow up.
Yeah, excellent. Well, you touched on it just briefly there, Pete, where you're moving towards doing a lot of video to demonstrate a machine. I'd really like to get a bit more insight there. Are you at all getting a lot of requests for that, or are you doing maybe even live demonstrations, or then just sending through videos on request? How are you finding it now to demonstrate equipment in a contactless sales environment?
Look, probably not so much a live situation, more just demonstrating what they want to have a look at, so especially when it's with tractors or even the operational, the controls on the diggers and that kind of stuff. If they want to look specifically at something, we'll do a personalised video for them, and then we'll send them, do it through YouTube or Vimeo or whatever, to send them a link so they can have a look at exactly what they want to have a look at. So it's not something that we've been doing a lot of, but it's getting more and more needed.
And George, your colleague Nick mentioned just before we started the show that you guys obviously do a lot of work in the digital space. Have you changed the way you've started to get demos out to people if they aren't able to come into the store, if they're not overly confident in doing so? Are you doing that remote video demo or pre-recorded demos? What are you guys doing as well?
Yeah, we're pretty basic here, but the old iPhone these days does capture a pretty good video and allows people to gain perspective of how the different machines work and what interests them in a machine. We do try to keep them under a minute or around 50 seconds because I still email or text those directly to the client. And we do find that really helpful. But again, as was previously mentioned, one of the good old things is people having a look, touch, feel, smell, see the machine and involve all the senses. So if they're at the buying stage, well, I still do recommend they come in to physically see what they are purchasing. And with the COVID-19 distancing regs, it's not too hard to still do, as long as, you know, it's 2 people at a time looking at a machine and moving forward like that.
Well, it's great that you're still getting people coming through, and I mean, capturing that sort of the multiple senses that are needed to make an educated decision on a purchase for capital equipment. You're 100% right. We talk about it at Machines View all the time when we're talking about how powerful video is in relation to engaging, you know, an auditory sense. You know, developing that that emotional connection to a machine or to a purchase eventually, because you can hear the engine running, you can hear it kick over, you might be able to hear if something's wrong. So it's interesting that you do bring that up, because it's something that we've heavily promoted at Machines View. And Tim, are you seeing, like, because I've been to the Chesterfield showroom over there out at Logan, and that is a very small space, but with the other branches that you guys work out of, and especially down there at Bowie, do you still see a lot of people wanting to come in to view, especially used equipment?
Yeah, look, there's definitely been an upturn in used equipment, especially in the last, say, 3 or 4 weeks. And like the guys are saying, I mean, most of it, you know, is over the phone to start with. You know, more pictures, videos, etc. But, you know, we still have got guys that want to come in and inspect the machine. And like they say, I mean, you know, 1.5 metres around a machine is not really hard to maintain. So, yeah, I mean, if someone wants to buy, they're definitely going to come down and look at a machine. So,
yeah, great. And Pete, with everything that you're doing to maintain that social distancing, and obviously you've made a lot of efforts to try and encourage keeping things contactless, what have you found has been the reception from the buyer? Has it been warm? Are they open to it, or are you seeing it sort of being a bit odd for them?
Look, now everybody seems to be fine with it. A few weeks ago, it was a little bit different. It was still a little bit, they weren't taking it quite as seriously as we were. But now I think it's pretty clear that everybody has to take it seriously. So we just both do it.
Yeah, look, it's really good to see all of you guys putting as much effort as you can in to stick to these COVID-19 social distancing rules and regulations. It must be really hard on a lot of salespeople to sort of travel on as normal. I know for myself speaking, it's been a definite change in the way I approach my day each and every day. So look, guys, we'll be back shortly after a break, and we'll be talking to these 3 gentlemen to get more insights on what it's like to be on the front line of the sales game in capital equipment during the COVID-19 crisis. We'll be right back.
Tell Mum and Dad the Chesterfield Australia Catalogue sale is on again. A great range of John Deere toys, caps and tools. Available online and in store at Chesterfield Australia.
For me, everything I do, I've got to try and achieve this level, and I really felt like I'm at this level now.
The whole point of this for me was to unlock more potential. How do you go to the next level again, and how do you keep stepping up and just incrementally from here on in?
I want to see what I'm capable of.
You know, I'm in business. I felt like I was kind of stuck in a bit of a rut, and wanted to get to the next level.
So I felt in areas of my life I wasn't showing up, and I wanted somebody to hold me accountable to that.
I've got big ambitions on what I want to achieve, and if I can't be a good leader, it won't happen.
No idea really what we're in for, and I expect it to be challenging. I expect it to be tough. But if we don't have that, then we're not going to move forward.
There's a greater level. And then again, 6 months later, there's a greater level. Your awareness just continually expand to grow. Don't hold back.
Welcome back to Steel Pushers. Thank you for joining us, guys. And remember, look, if you do want to comment, feel free to chuck one in. And guys, obviously the show itself really appreciates the support that everybody gives us. We know how tough everybody is doing it. We can only hope that we're helping with our videos and what we're doing to try and provide as much information and education to everyone out there in capital equipment as we can. Look, I'd start with yourself, George. What I'd like to talk about now is sort of what you're doing at the moment to, I suppose, report back to home base. There's going to be a lot of salespeople out there. I don't know what it's like with us, where we're reporting back to our management team in relation to activity on the phone, getting through and reporting back as to what sort of progress we're making with any current accounts or new accounts. What's it been like for the team over at Auslift to, when you are working remotely, or to report back to the management team?
I think that the CCing on emails is really a big part of it, and everyone's email traffic has increased a lot. And we have also noticed that our internal phone conversations have gone up to make sure that the information and the communication channels are open. And I think it's everybody's responsibility to ensure that those channels are as open as possible, whether it be via a mobile phone call, email, follow up to check that that message has been received and understood, and also using all of the available information that we have to hand to keep every department involved, from our workshop to our transport to our operations and sales, and ultimately back to admin to ensure that funds have been received and machinery is ready to go out to be delivered. So again, it comes back to clear and open communication, Lyndon.
And Tim, are you seeing the sort of same, like when salespeople report to yourself or you report back to higher management? What's changed about the way you would do things? Are you engaging in video conferencing, very similar to this? What's changed over at Chesterfield as to how you're maintaining contact with the sales teams?
Basically, no, we're not into the videos or Zoom meetings or anything. We're just basically, probably more on the phone than what we're used to. Lots of emails, lots of phone calls. Just basically keeping everyone in the loop as to what's going on.
Yep. And Pete, I know it is a small team over at ESA, but with what you guys are doing at Equipment Specialists Australia, has there been a change as to how you get back to everyone? I know obviously everything's a bit different on the smaller end of the scale when there's only 2 or 3 of you operating remotely, but how have you found the reporting back to the powers that be?
Oh, look, yeah, you're right. We are quite a small team, so nothing really has changed on that front. We're probably more inclined to pick up the phone and tell people about our wins, a bit of positivity as opposed to just always trying to fix things. Just jump on the phone and let everyone know that we are still doing good, and just making sure that we are talking a bit more upbeat, more.
I think that's been a very big focus at Machines for You as well, that we really highlight and emphasize every little win that we get when we're communicating as a team, whether it is through a Zoom meeting, as the whole company, or whether it's just a quick phone call between a couple of members. It's definitely something that we're doing at Machines for You, really keeping that positive vibe up. I think is really important. When you're stuck at home, things can get a bit dreary at times. But having that uplift and just having somebody even check in, just going, how's your day been? I hope it's been fantastic. I've had a wonderful win today. What about yourself? And keeping a positive's a real plus and something that everyone should definitely consider doing. And operational changes in day-to-day sales. George, have you seen things sort of shift towards using a lot more sort of more of a device-based a team, or are you guys using technology a lot more than you previously would have? What are you finding there at Auslift?
Well, Nick is implementing some new software that we're looking at, and we've been looking at for a while, but we've been making sure that it integrates correctly through our different channels here at the yard. So we also are being more aggressive on our outbound advertising and our outbound messaging to clients and the market in general. So for us, it really has been Nick following up with new software and outbound to our client base. So, and we have seen positive results out of just more communication with our customers.
Yep. And Tim, over at Chesterfield, I know there's a lot of changes in the very near future coming, especially with the website and just streamlining a lot of things with a push towards your used equipment in the current climate, which completely makes sense, as you alluded to earlier. But are you seeing a lot of operational changes in how salespeople are operating on a day-to-day basis by comparison to, say, 2-3 months ago?
Yeah, not really, Lyndon. As it has it, we have our phones twinned, so all the sales guys have their desk phone twinned to their mobile. So when the sales call comes in to the desk phone, if it's not picked up, it goes straight to the mobile. So I mean, that definitely has helped in the working from home situation. So, you know, regardless of whether you're at home or whether you're in the office, those calls have been received. So, yeah, no, it's really exciting times ahead with the website upgrade and everything. So, yeah, big push on used equipment coming.
And Peter, I know you guys have slowly but surely, or been almost sort of been dragged kicking and screaming towards email marketing, and it's incredible to see you guys using the machine mail system and really proactively pushing product. How have you found it's impacted the business, changing the operation of proactive sales and really utilizing email marketing now?
Look, it was something that I think this has forced us into actually doing it, as opposed to just saying we were going to do it for months and months and finding reasons why we shouldn't have to or didn't want to. Same with the videos and making the videos and doing the video tours and things like that. This has forced our hand. So now we've just jumped in and we're learning as we go. So we're not great at it, but we'll get better at it. But I think we've just been forced into it.
Well, some of the emails that you guys are already cranking out have been fantastic. The video quality footage that you guys are putting up on your listings has been wonderful. So there's definitely, you can see the improvements immediately in the use of technology, and it shows that operational change of how you're doing things differently on a day-to-day basis. And I'm sure as well, both Tim and George, you're seeing a lot of almost streamlining. Are you guys seeing that there's a bit of downtime at the moment for maybe just refining certain processes, refining certain like yourself, Tim? I know there's a lot of changes coming, and are you finding that there's a bit more efficiency coming as a result of it?
Oh, definitely. Everyone's more efficient now, mate. There's a lot of changes being made over the last probably six months to the sales process, and everyone's got to be a lot more efficient because of it, for sure.
Oh yeah, and George, yourself, you said you've got new software being implemented. That must be, there's a lot of streamlining being done. And I think I'm finding I'm talking to a lot of businesses out there at the moment that are using any of their downtime to try and nail those efficiencies as well. And I know we at Machines for You are as well. And finally, I really want to talk about what it's been like to just getting the day done when you're moving towards the end of a week or moving towards the end of a day. How have you found, George, or what have you done, George, to make sure that everyone at Auslift stays focused, stays drilled, stays motivated to not just sort of, if they are working remotely, get up out of their chair, go and do a 3:30 coffee, scroll through their emails? What are you doing to keep everyone motivated at that last ditch effort of the day to push through?
I think sharing with the team is a very big one, and that is successes, and that is focusing on what we're doing right, because a lot of us focus on the wrong things, and pushing forward to people that aren't here at the yard with us and making them feel still part of the team and required and a really important member is is probably what we do. And as we keep saying, communication, the phone call, the email, even the how you going prod, I think is very important. Very important to keep the team all feeling part of it.
And Peter, everything that you're doing over there at Equipment Specialists Australia, being a smaller team, do you find you're becoming more tight-knit, almost reading each other's thoughts as you spend more and more time together?
Oh, well, we do, and we're also given obviously I've got a bit more downtime, so we've been doing other things to help people out, some data entry and that kind of thing, and getting an appreciation for other people's input in the business as aside to just sales alone. And I think some of the other team are seeing that sales are when we do struggle and we do try to find scratch and bit to find some sales, we do take it to heart. But yeah, I'm up in my computer game. I'm learning how to use all sorts of new bits of data entry stuff.
So, Tim, I want to ask, what advice would you give other salespeople out there, during this mess that is the COVID-19 crisis? What advice would you give other salespeople out there to keep on going, keep doing what they're doing, and just to give other businesses the reassurance that the world didn't stop turning, capital equipment is still moving?
Yeah, look, I think like I mentioned earlier, it's staying in contact with your key customers. And the guys that you've recently sold machines to as well, following up, make sure they're happy with the machines, and on the back of that too, maybe update your training, looking to update your skills as well. Obviously there is going to be a little bit of downtime. So yeah, just school up on some new features of machines and bits and pieces.
And Pete, yourself, what would you say to other sales guys out there to just keep them driving forward?
Well, it's not going to stop. Trucks will still move, and mines will still mine, and farms will still farm. So, this is just going to slow us down for a little bit, but it's certainly not going to stop us.
Awesome. Look, guys, thank you very much for joining us today on Steel Pushers, and thanks to all you Steel Pushers out there for tuning in yet again for a COVID-19 special episode. Guys, remember as well, when you're on that YouTube channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that notification button as well so you know when the next episode is coming. And just to summarize, so the world has not stopped turning. The salespeople out there in capital equipment, as you've just seen, with George from Auslift, with Tim from Chesterfield, with Peter from Equipment Specialists Australia, that they're still getting the job done. Things have just changed a little. Consider using video to complete remote demonstrations of machinery, or if they are coming in, just stick to those COVID-19 social distancing regulations. You will obviously see an increase in use of digital devices. Email traffic goes up, but digital traffic goes up when we're sitting at home or on the couch and we've got nothing better to do. And it just goes to show that's exactly what these three guys are seeing in the industry as well. So look, again, thank you very much for tuning in to Steel Pushers for another great episode. Thank you very much, George from Auslift, for coming and joining us. Thank you very much as well, Tim from Chesterfield. And thank you,
Lyndon.
And thanks again to yourself, Peter, as well, for jumping on. I know you're not the most camera confident person, but I appreciate you guys, mate, all of you making the effort. And remember, everyone, it's just about keeping positive. We are all in this together. We are all experiencing this all at once, and we just need to keep moving forward, keep getting the job done, and remember to stay motivated, keep those positivity levels up. Make sure you touch base with your team in a positive manner each and every day if you can. And remember, all we're here to do is to help you buy better and sell faster. And we'll see you next time on Steel Pushers.